Hey, my name is Bill Howard, and I'm a filmmaker in Eastern North Carolina. And I currently have the films The Incredulous Case of Aliens, the U.S. Government, and Arnie Smith, Something Walks in the Woods, and The Great Dismal, all on Reveal. So, Something Walks in the Woods is definitely a mockumentary. Uh, there's another filmmaker that I follow, and I've kind of studied how he did his films, and it was all low budget, very few actors other than himself, and he's got a large following. So I was like, I think I could write something like that. Um, so I did, and it's based on Native American lore from a Native American tribe here in Eastern North Carolina. I try to base most of my films in Eastern North Carolina, but it's very much a mockumentary. We had a very good, almost viral social media campaign in which I shared interviews asking people about this figure that walks in the woods. And it's based off of an actual TikTok video that I saw several years ago during COVID. But I made my own figure that walked in the woods, and yeah, it helped in the marketing campaign. But it's very, very much a mockumentary. As far as making the film, the challenges mainly were I was trying to film myself because I was the main actor, and that can get kind of interesting. Not just in the fact that I've got to remember what I'm talking about, and yes, this was scripted. It's nothing that I went in there and just kind of ad libbed. I had lines, and I had it completely scripted throughout. But then there were scenes where I needed things to happen, such as, you know, without too many spoilers, there's an earthquake in the scene, and there's tree limbs falling down, and that type of stuff. So I had to enlist help from family and friends to kind of hide behind trees out of the light of the campfire and kind of lob these limbs in over top of me and make sure that they didn't whack me on top of the head. But overall, it went pretty much a script, and I had to make sure that I could land the locations. Um, One of the location in which I was in the woods, I actually had a sheriff's deputy stop me as I was kind of setting up, getting to the entrance and going into the woods, and was questioning what I was doing. And I was like, well, I've got permission from the city, and I gave out the names and that type of stuff, and he let me in. So I actually did have a sheriff's deputy stop me from entering the woods to do this. I also kind of had to fake the fire a little bit because one, we didn't want to draw attention into the woods, but so much, and um, we also didn't know if it would be perfectly safe, even clearing out a spot like you would for a campfire to kind of do it in there. We really weren't very far from neighborhoods, uh, so I had a fake fire. I kind of had some stuff smoldering so I'd have the smoke, but yeah, those were the main challenges really. As far as the first documentary that inspired me, I'm really going to go back to, excuse me, the reason I did Something Walks in the Woods was uh, there's a filmmaker named Turner Clay. He's out of Georgia, and he did a series called the Blackwell Ghost series. And again, it's very low budget. I bet he could probably film it for under $500, but it's got a very, very large following, and he's currently filming number 8 in the series. So you can see it's kind of kept progressing. And the thing is, the story is very interesting. Uh, he grips you with his personality as well. So, you know, I've often made the comments that you keep watching them because you want to see how Turner Clay is doing. You've become friends with him. He's portrayed his personality. So I was hoping I was doing the same with Something Walks in the Woods. And we've actually, here's a exclusive. We've got 4 more films coming out. I'm currently filming the second installment of the Something Walks in the Woods series. And 4 of the 5 films are going to be documentary, mockumentary style films, each time stepping up the uh, the intrigue and the challenges, so to speak. With the 4th film in the installment, so 1, 2, and 3 will be mockumentaries. The 4th one's going to be a narrative, and then the 5th one goes back to being a mockumentary. So the narrative film is going to kind of follow from the outside. I won't be in the film at all, other than maybe a cameo. But I'm trying to. And my light's flickering. Isn't that eerie, right? So I'm just trying to give a different avenue toward telling the overall story that I'm trying to get to with Something Walks in the Woods. Are alien movies horrors or thrillers? I mean, that's a good question. It also should it be sci-fi instead? Um, I did the film The Incredulous Case of Aliens, the U.S. Government, Arnie Smith, and that is interview based, 3 interviews, and it's based on a true story. The person that kind of gave me the information was not willing to go on camera to do it as an actual documentary, so I had to script the lines of 3 different actors to kind of tell that guy's story because he just did not want something to come back to him. And it's more, that particular film, it's a documentary slash mockumentary because of uh, of how everything went. But overall, yes, alien films very much can be horror films and not just thrillers. There's a fine line between horror and thriller. With with a horror, you still have that suspenseful lead up, but there's really ultimate consequences there at the end and throughout, that gives you that sense of dread. Where a thriller kind of angles a little bit different and is more suspenseful and not necessarily having that ultimate moment. Um, but yes, it can fall under either. I think either or both for the same film. There's several really good films out there that I think falls in that line. Um, so yeah, definitely. Is the arrowhead real? It's definitely real. We have tons of these artifacts in this part of the country from Native American tribes, and so yes, it's a real arrowhead. Did I find it on that property in front of the campfire? Absolutely not. That was planted uh, for the film, obviously. Uh, the large bone that I came up with, that uh, that was not a giant or a Native American bone. It was actually an ostrich bone that's a little over 2 feet long. So yeah, I mean, it's filmmaking, right? So you have to kind of make your own magic and find your own props. But yes, the airhead's definitely real. I hope you all enjoy my films on Reveal. Again, The Incredulous Case of Aliens, U.S. Government, Arnie Smith, Something Walks in the Woods, and my newest feature, which was actually my first feature I worked on, called The Great Dismal, which is a Bigfoot story. Please get out there and watch them. The Great Dismal is much more of a thriller than a horror, um, but I think it's got a very good story. The script did well in the various film and script festivals. Um, so yeah, I hope you enjoy it. And I've actually got a docu series that's coming in to reveal called Encounters. And this is not mockumentary, it's a documentary, and it's interviews with actual alien abductees and contactees and people that have what they call themselves experiencers. So I do hope you all enjoy that. And hey, stay tuned here on Reveal. I've got more stuff coming.